This is a bird's eye view, and I am your host, Frances Gomillion, Total Talent Leader here at Bluebird. And today's topic is community engagement. And I have as my guest here, Lauren Beaty, our Community Engagement Manager. Lauren, so happy to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here, Frances.
Awesome. So Lauren, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about the foundation and what's happening in the community.
Okay, sure. I've been at Bluebird for 3 years. My background is in nonprofits. When I first started at Bluebird, I worked with the Clean School Bus program, helping our dealers and school districts transition their fleets to a clean fuel. So that job has expanded over the past few years to include community engagement. And I'm really excited to share more about a foundation. We have a foundation that was started in 2015 and was revitalized over the past year. So there's a lot of really neat things happening in that area.
Awesome. So you talked about coming from nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
We are certainly seeing that Bluebird is doing a lot of great things in the community around nonprofit support. And so we know that Bluebird has given over $600,000 to over 80 nonprofit organizations within their community. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So we've, like you said, have donated to over 80 organizations in Middle Georgia, and that's a huge accomplishment. And we are trying to build on that momentum with revitalizing the foundation. So with the foundation now for the 2025 year, there's 2 grant cycles. So we just concluded our first grant cycle and had an award ceremony last month where we awarded $53,000 to 10 nonprofits. Wow. So it's really exciting because of what amount of money we may not think of as a large amount makes a huge impact for some of these organizations. So we funded projects that from United in Pink, their Kids in Pink camp, to Brave Meadows, which is a therapeutic writing group. And there's just a lot of great activity being done in the Middle Georgia area.
Awesome. So you mentioned revitalizing the program, or the program has been revitalized. Tell us a little bit about, how it came to start, kind of what happened initially, how we're now revitalizing that, and also how did the founder of Bluebird, the Luntz family, really impact, things that happen there?
So Albert Luce and his wife, Helen Matthews Luce, were the founders of Bluebird. So Bluebird's history is really family-based, entrepreneurial. And one of the great things that I've heard about the Luce family was how engaged they were with the community. So with Peach County, with Fort Valley, with Middle Georgia, and then even the state of Georgia. For example, Albert Luce, he was considered a golden giver at Georgia Tech. He gave consecutively 71 years to his alma mater, which is really remarkable to be consistent with something for 71 years. But what we're trying to do with the foundation is honor the Luce's family commitment to the community. So in 2015, Bluebird created the foundation. And then with COVID, like so many other things, became more dormant. And in 2024, we have a working group that started meeting monthly to restructure and figure out the best way that Bluebird could become an engaged corporate citizen.
That is so awesome to hear. So, of course, me being a talent professional, how has the employees of Bluebird really been an impact to help support? How have they been involved? Kind of share some of that with us.
Okay, so for this working group that I was telling you about, there's a representative from a variety of different departments in Bluebird, and every person has kind of brought a different experience or different connections with Bluebird and the community. So we have 2 of the original members of the board in this group. We also have senior leadership, new employees on the board who are actively seeking that type of engagement or wanting to be working for a company that is giving back. So we've had a lot of just really interesting ideas. We can build on what has happened in the past, but are kind of getting, I don't know, I'm really excited about it, just everything that's coming forward.
That is awesome. It sounds exciting. I mean, who doesn't get excited about community engagement, support with, obviously, Bluebird Foundation. So I think I read somewhere around our dealers being involved in some of this work and this engagement. Tell us also a little bit about that. How are dealers involved? Because it seems that we have so much engagement, which is just some very exciting work.
So the dealer program was meant to complement what we're doing with the foundation in Middle Georgia. Obviously, we want to be giving back to Middle Georgia. It's our hometown, our founding place. But what is also exciting is, our dealer network. We have at least one dealer in every state. And so we wanted to expand what we were doing, give the dealers an opportunity to be philanthropic in their own communities. And many of them are doing this already on their own, but with the dealer, it's called the Dealers Driving Communities Forward program. A dealer, let's say you represented Georgia, you could nominate a nonprofit that you would like Bluebird to donate to, and then that nonprofit will go through the application process, and Bluebird would, if selected, Bluebird would send money to that nonprofit on behalf of our dealer network. So trying to concentrate on Middle Georgia as well as the entire United States.
That is great. So what else is happening? What's next? What's on the horizon? If we talk about the next quarter, next fiscal year, what's on the horizon?
So we just, like I mentioned earlier, wrapped up our first grant cycle. So we'll open our second grant cycle this summer, and we'll aim to have another award ceremony in October. That's from the community side. Also from the employee engagement side that you were mentioning, on June 30th, we're going to have our first ever community volunteer day, which I'm really excited about that. Every department has the opportunity to go out into somewhere in the Middle Georgia community of that department's choosing, and instead of coming to the office that day, be giving back to a community organization.
That is so impactful. That is so impactful to see employees in our entire community, in our employee population, giving back to the community as well. I mean, that is just something that we should all really be proud of.
And a great story with that is that, so the sales department is going to be working with the K Center, and the K Center actually has an almost 50-year relationship with Bluebird. So it's an organization that serves adults with disabilities. So I'm excited to be able to bring more people to the K Center to interact with the adults. I think we get to play games and do crafts. So we probably have a really fun day ahead of us. But we've got other groups that are going out to camps or to help build and restore some things. So
yes. So what I'm hearing is that Bluebird really has an emphasis on community, on legacy, on employee engagement, on building. I mean, just what an awesome time it is.
It's really exciting, and I think I was even more excited when I heard that John Weiskill was coming on board. He's also served on a board of a nonprofit at his previous position, Best Buddies. So knowing that your leader still has that heart for service and community engagement makes me be really excited too, just to know, okay, we're going to keep marching forward in this direction.
That is awesome. So any final thoughts that you want to share with the Bluebird community? Any final thoughts you have?
I think that one of the things that has been the most impactful for me is the more we talk about community engagement as a company, the more people start to come out of the woodwork and share stories about Bluebird or their involvement in an organization. So we're learning more and more about the needs that the community has, but also what maybe our employees are already doing, our dealers. For example, we're going to sponsor not a golf tournament. We're going to sponsor, it's called Hope Kicks, and it's an organization that's going to give new tennis shoes to all 5th and 6th grade students in Peach County. But I would never have known about that organization if not for a Bluebird employee who had heard about it, through his church. So just having people be more aware of Bluebird's mission to give back is helping us expand what we're doing.
Well, I know that is just some great work. We're so excited that you are at the helm and bringing great support to us and information. And that's a bird's eye view on community engagement.